Do you want to know which Austin golf communities are actually worth the money? Do you love golf but don't want to break the bank? I got you. Do you love golf and want the best of the best? I've got you. Do you not love golf, but you love those country club amenities? I've got you too. Now hold up. Some of these golf communities might surprise you and not in a good way. So stick around. I'm going to take you through our private 11 clubs around town, plus 2 new ones, and you don't want to miss it. We are talking from exclusive estates over in Spanish Oaks to family-friendly fairways over at Twin Creeks and everything in between. Hi, I'm Nicole Cooper, UT Golf alum and real estate pro. I've been helping people buy and sell in the greater Austin area for over 15 years, especially in golf communities. You see, I don't just know the market, I have played every course and walked all of these fairways. So if you're looking for lifestyle and location, you're in the right spot. Now let's get started. Now we're gonna kick things off with the clubs that are easiest to get into and work towards the one where you need seriously deep pockets and connections to get into. Stick around to see number 7, that's my favorite, and our top number 11, and we may even have some bonus surprises for you at the end. Number 1, we are starting with River Place. Have a look in the map. I'm going to show you where all these clubs are. So here is our golf community map. All these little red pins are our private clubs in town. We have Onion Creek down in the southeast, Twin Creeks up in the northwest, and then our clubs out towards the Lakeway out directly west. Now we are starting right over here, kind of a bit to the northwest over in River Place Country Club. This one's little nickname, we call it Views for Days. Have a look at this course right here. This is the clubhouse, and you can see all that rolling terrain in the background, and that is what River Place is known for. The last time I played here, I went out there with the tee it high and let it fly mentality, and I ended up in the tee it high and let it fly right into the canyon and the ravines and the trees. So on this course, you have to be pretty accurate off the tee box as well as up to the green. You've got a few blind shots. You've got a creek that meanders on the front 9, and then you've got a lot of elevated tee shots and undulation in the fairways. You're never going to have a flat lie out there. Now, the course was originally built in 1984, but then it was redone in 1995 with Tom Kite and Roy Bechtel. And as you can see here, it's got quite a bit of elevation out there. As far as membership price, this is our best value in town, coming in at only $12,500 for an initiation fee, and it is a part of the broader National Arcus Golf Club. Here is an example of a home currently listed in River Place, so you can see what really draws people to the area, those beautiful panoramic views. And here is the style of house from the front. You're going to have a little bit of the traditional design, a bit of Mediterranean, some stucco in the area, but main reason people move here is the views and the panoramic scenery that you're going to get all throughout the neighborhood. And our top pros and cons for the neighborhood, the best thing is it's the best value club in town and yet has breathtaking view. The community feeds into top schools and it is right next to the lake. As you can see here, the community is in this black outline. We've got Lake Travis over here to the northwest, and we've got the Colorado River or Town Lake to the south side. The cons for the neighborhood is less prestigious than the other clubs in town, but that's why you get good value there. The next is there is very hilly terrain in the neighborhood, so if you're gonna take the kids for a walk, you may need a wagon or something to push them in because they are very, very steep. And this community is a non-gated community as far as the country club goes. There are a couple of very small pockets that are gated in there, but by and large, this is not a gated country club community. Next, if you have to drive downtown for work or any type of commute, it can be pretty tough getting in and out of town because you just kind of come in on that 2222 access road, and it can get pretty bottlenecked at traffic time. So just keep that in mind as you're shopping in that area. And the last con is a lot of the homes in the neighborhood need updating. If they haven't been remodeled and they are on their original form, you're probably going to want to change some colors on the inside, some textures, and update that kitchen. So that's going to be an added expense on top of your purchase price. And currently, the prices are running in the neighborhood. They're gonna start around $700,000 and go up to probably about $2.5 million on average. Up next, Twin Creeks. So we were right over here in River Place before. Now we're heading up towards Cedar Park over at Twin Creeks Country Club. And the nickname for Twin Creeks we're going with today, Family Fairways. Twin Creeks is another one in the hill country. It has that rolling terrain, some elevated tees out there. It was designed by Freddie Couples, and what he did on this club is to try to leave nature as much as it was possible. So instead of just bulldozing everything and building it back, he used the natural lay of the land, the natural ravines and terrain, and just built the golf course inside that beauty that was already there. Here's another image of a hole. You can see how it's just tree lined on both sides, but up here on the left, the homes are way up high. And I do want to show you this aerial view here of the club so you can see all this green space outside of it. And then you can kind of see how the community is laid out. Master plan community here, homes are close together, and you have a few holes that have homes running along the edge, but these holes all over here are just in the middle of the green belt, and the homes are much, much further away from the course. So you're not like right up against the backyard fences like you are in some of these clubs. So most of the course, when you're playing golf, you feel like you're out in nature instead of the middle of the neighborhood. Here's another view of a par 3. You stand up here and tee off down below. And this one for membership, it is our next most value-based club at $15,000. And you also get membership to the National Arcus membership with your Twin Creeks membership. As far as homes go in the neighborhood, you're gonna start in the 500,000, so it's a pretty good value to be in a golf community. But keep in mind that this isn't gated, so it's just a normal drive-through community like any other. They do have a small portion that's gated, kind of like River Place, but with the club itself and the larger neighborhood is not a gated community. So you're gonna start in the 500s and go up to about $1.5 million in the neighborhood. Here is kind of what you'd find a traditional home in there. You're gonna have some traditional brick, limestone, a little bit of stucco, but just think master plan community where the homes are quite similar. As for the pros and cons, well, you have a private country club without that private country club initiation fee at only $15,000. You feed into highly rated schools, it's got beautiful scenery and peaceful streets, and it's a very active and connected community. The cons for the neighborhood is it's not a very walkable neighborhood, which means if you're not gonna eat in the dining room of the country club, you're gonna have to get in your car and drive to a restaurant or drive to go shopping or drive to the coffee shop. Once you get into the community, it's all residential, nothing commercial. Again, if you have to commute to downtown, you're going to be coming in on Highway 183, and that's the main thoroughfare kind of coming from Leander, Cedar Park into town, so it's a little bit tough at rush hour time. But let's jump back to the pros section once again, and there is a train, a commuter train that goes from Cedar Park down to the center of downtown Austin. You would have to drive or get some kind of rideshare to get to the train, but that is an option from Cedar Park as it runs more or less along that 183 trail and it goes downtown. But if you are driving, keep in mind it does get bottlenecked. And the last con is the amenities are not as luxurious. They do have the pool and the tennis courts and the fitness room. It's just not as big, not as many courts as the others. Our next best value-based club coming in at number 3 is Onion Creek. If we look over here at the map, we were at the northwest corner up here in Cedar Park with Twin Creeks, and now we're coming down here to the southeast corner in Onion Creek. Onion Creek, the nickname, we call it Historic Hustle. It's where the legends used to play. Think Arnold Palmer. I even saw him during the Legends, one of their very first events held at Onion Creek Club. I got his autograph when I was about, I don't know, junior high. It was amazing. I thought it was the best day ever. So the course was originally designed by Jimmy Demerit in 1974 and later expanded by Ben Crenshaw, and that's where the 27 holes come in. When you're playing Onion Creek, you have kind of some different feels on the golf course. You have 1-9, part of the original course that's down by the creek, and that's Onion Creek I'm talking about. And that portion has a tendency to get flooded every now and then. So that is one thing to know about the whole community of Onion Creek. The creek does flow through it, and when we have extreme flooding, which we do in Texas, the golf course pays for it, and some of the homes have also paid a dear price for being flooded in extreme weather times. So Back to the 27 holes. You have one that's down on the creek. You have one set of 9 that's kind of has a bit more terrain as far as undulation. You have some cliffside views and things like that. But the creek meanders all through there. And then the newest 9, they've taken half of that and half of the back 9 of the original and kind of mixed them together. So it's hard to say exactly because you have some new holes in there and some original holes in there. All that to say, you will always have some variety because sometimes you might play A and C, sometimes you might play B and C, sometimes you might play A, B. So it kind of gives you some variety in having that extra set of 9 holes there. The membership fee here, the initiation is $15,000. They will allow you to pay it in a few chunks, so it's pretty easy to enter here at the Onion Creek Club. As far as houses go, you can actually get in here in the neighborhood at $500,000 and it goes up to probably about $1.5 million. You're going to find a large majority in the older section of the ranch style homes, similar to this one here. It's 1 story. Now granted, this one has been updated over time. Originally it was built in the 70s, but as we can see, we have a new roof, some solar panels, and they've redone the windows and things like that. If we look towards the newer portion of the neighborhood, think 90s and early 2000s, you're going to find homes that look more like this, more 2 stories and a bit more traditional design, the single story ranch style versus these larger 2-story styles towards the back when they were built a little bit newer. The pros and cons, the best part, both the golf and the homes are some of the most affordable all around town. Easy access to downtown and the airport. You have 27 holes instead of 18, and you've got super mature trees all throughout the neighborhood, so it gives you a really beautiful lush vibe. And when you're driving through the streets, the trees are overgrowing the streets in a big canopy. It's gorgeous. The real estate is good value. What's not so hot, the cons are it can flood. You have to be very careful where you buy your home in the neighborhood. Only some of the neighborhood floods, but don't buy anything in the flood zone. Many of the homes need remodeling. I mean, the community started in the 70s and some of the homes are in original shape. So you might be thinking you're going to get in the $500,000 range, but it may also need a little bit of love on the inside. So just remember that you're not going to buy brand new nice in Onion Creek because the community has been there since the 70s. Our 4th club today, nicknamed our Hilly Hidden Gem, is going to be Great Hills Country Club, right here in the northwest pocket of town. We were down here on the southeast side down here at Onion Creek, and now we're heading up here to Great Hills. Think Arboretum Domain area. That's where it is. And let me tell you, it's called Great Hills appropriately. It was my course during college. That's where we had our home tournament. And when you walked up this hill here at 18, carrying your own bag, let me tell you, you felt it in your legs and everywhere else for that matter. So this club was originally built in the 70s by Don January. Think tight fairways, you've got some bunkers, you've got a creek that runs through it. The front 9's pretty easy to walk, but the back 9, you're probably going to want to take a cart because the distance between the greens and the next tee box. Currently, membership is running $67,500, but I expect that to go up, and here's why. There are only 2 member-owned golf courses in town, this one in Austin Country Club, and the members have voted to do a remodel at the end of this year. That's 2025. So they're going to be closing down for probably about a year to redo the sprinkler system and redo some greens and bunkers and come out better on the other side. I have a sneaky feeling that when they get done with this remodel, it's going to cost a lot more than $67,500. If you join now though, keep in mind the course will be closing down towards the end of the year and will be closed for a significant amount of time while undergoing the remodel. So that's something to take note of if you need to play a lot of golf within the next year. Now, before we move on to the types of houses, I wanted to show the aerial view here of Great Hills too, so you can see how close it is to all the tech and shopping, all the city kind of things, and then yet we have all this green space around the club as well. So it's very calm and serene once you get out on the golf course, and then you have all this green belt out here if you want to get to the edge of the community and go for a hike. Now, as far as homes go in the neighborhood, you might be able to get something in the $600,000, and you're probably going to go upwards of $2 million in the neighborhood. Another private country club that is not gated. You may find a little section out towards the edge that's gated, but as far as the club goes, you don't get through a gate to go there, and the majority of the neighborhood is just normal neighborhood. I mentioned the course was built in the early 70s, so that's when the neighborhood started. You're going to have homes running the gamut from the 70s to the early 2000s, and the price is going to vary vary a lot depending on how much it's been fixed up over time. Generally, you're going to see some ranch style homes. You're going to see a lot of multi-level homes in the area because it's built on the hill. You're going to see a lot of elevation from the front yards to the backyards. Some of them won't even have a backyard because the terrain is going away. But here's an example of a pretty average home you'd find in the Great Hills community. You've got the 2-car garage in front, either brick or stone exterior, a lot of 2 stories in the area. And then you might have one of those homes where you enter in the middle, go up for the living, down for the beds, or swapped. So think a lot of stairs in this neighborhood. As for the pros and cons, the best part is its convenient location. It's super close to downtown Austin. It's in the backyard of the Arboretum Shopping and the Domain. In addition, you're right on 183 that has all that commercial and the tech corridor for Austin. Next, it's absolutely beautiful. You're going to have some of those panoramic views, some of the tee shots on the golf course. You're going to be teeing off from up high, hitting down into a ravine. So it is a very pretty course in Austin. And it feeds into good schools. Now, the middle of the community does divide. Half goes into Round Rock ISD, half goes into Austin ISD, but either way, you're going to be feeding into a good public school system. What's not so great? Well, being that close to commercial, you can get into a lot of traffic. So once you leave the quiet, serene part of the community, you hop right out onto major highways, and at traffic time, that can just force you to stay in the neighborhood because it's just too busy. There's limited public transportation in the neighborhood. Once you get out of the neighborhood, you can get to buses and trains and things, or the train. We don't have multiple trains, we just have one. But if you want to leave from your house, that's not an option in Great Hills. And then lastly, I've already mentioned this, it is not a gated community, even though it is a private country club and has a $67,500 initiation fee. It's just a normal neighborhood like any other without the gate. Up next, we go from here at Great Hills in North Austin down here to West Austin. It is called Westlake Country Club, formerly known as Lost Creek Country Club. The community of the homes is still called Lost Creek, but Westlake underwent a remodel just a couple of years ago and a rebranding at that, and they came out Westlake Country Club. I think it's a pretty good move on their behalf. As far as the nickname for Westlake Country Club, we're calling this one our neighborhood cozy. It's a tight-knit country club. Think more like if a country club and a block party had a baby. Small, charming, and tight-knit. And this one was built back in the 70s as well. It was originally built in 1972, and it has more of that traditional layout. It's got a creek running through it. It backs to the Barton Creek Greenbelt, so super pretty down in the course. On the back side, you're gonna have a little bit less room, I guess, to hit those big drives. You're gonna have some dog legs and some kind of blind tee shots or layup tee shots. Then again, there are some par 4s that you can go for it in that risk reward situation. So when they did the remodel, they redid the bunkers, some of the greens, and then they made some of the par 4s where you can reach them off the tee. So here's an example of what one of the fairways looks like where you can see. Miss the fairway, you're into the scenery. We've got the trees on the left, bunkers on the right. And then this here is what Barton Springs actually, or the Barton Creek Greenbelt Creek portion actually looks like when we have rain, and that's right next to the Westlake Country Club golf course. And here's the finishing hole. They've got the pro shop there in the background. This is a par 3. So when all the money is on the line, you're finishing with a par 3. You could have a hole in one and then, be buying everyone's drinks for the day. So this course is not like PGA level flashy, but it's a super good course that everybody can love and play. Membership here is part of the Invited Club. So the national or global company Invited, and another club in town that has that same membership status is the Hills in Flintrock Falls. We'll get to that in a minute. However, right now, membership here at Westlake Country Club is $85,000. Laney Watkins finished the redesign in 2023 for the golf course. They redid some of the tennis and some of the other amenities inside, and they're still doing some more remodels on the dining room and things like that. So it is a work in progress, and it's still going to come out better even yet from where it is today. As far as homes go in the area, well, you have that rolling terrains and just such easy proximity to downtown Austin that it is going to command a premium. So homes are going to start around $1 million and go upwards of $4 million. As we see here, this is kind of what you can expect to find as far as a 2-story goes. You're going to have this uneven ground, a little bit like Great Hills that we were just covering last, but you see how we have these stairs up to the front doorway. Out the back, you may or may not have yard because the hill goes down again. Some of the homes even will have like a bridge from the road over to the front door because the terrain terrain is so aggressive there in front. So this is another community where you are more prone to have the multi-level homes because of the terrain, but look at this. You can also buy a home that has a view like this over the back Barton Creek. And here behind this pool, like I was mentioning before, sometimes you don't have that backyard. After the pool, it's a steep drop off. So if you have a dog or something, sometimes these homes are tough finding areas for either the kids to play soccer, the dogs to get to a flat spot, because there aren't any flat spots. But it also makes for lovely views like we see right here. So as for the pros and cons for Westlake Country Club, the first one here is going to be the schools, and that is because it feeds into Eanes ISD. Second, this is the closest club to downtown. It's just straight out west. You can get into town very easily. You can get to Barton Creek Mall in a skip. It is just super convenient to all things Austin. It's known as being a beautiful neighborhood that's super safe, and most important, it is right on the Barton Creek Greenbelt, and everybody from miles around, from cities around, loves the Barton Creek Greenbelt. And here's a look at that Barton Creek Greenbelt in the summer with everyone taking advantage of it after some rain. What are the cons? Well, there aren't any starter homes in there. It starts off at $1 million, so the price tag is going to be our first con. Our second, it's pretty limited inventory, especially on the golf course. There aren't many homes that are just fronting up to the golf course, and the ones that do don't come up for sale very often. And lastly, traffic. If you have to use 360, which is the main road in that area, it can just come to a halt at rush hour. So just keep that in mind if you have to do a commute more than 3 or 4 times a week. Up next, the UT Golf Club. You heard it, University of Texas Golf Club. Right over here, this is where we were at Westlake Country Club here. Now we're coming over here north of the river. The nickname for the UT Golf Club is the Hook'em Fairways. I mean, you know, the burnt orange golf carts, the burnt orange decoration, the Hall of Honor where they have all the championship bags and trophies and things from the current golf teams all the way to the current British Open champion and Scotty Scheffler. It is all things Longhorn. You don't have to be a Longhorn to be a member there, but you probably should appreciate it a little bit because it's all in your face. I, for one, love it because that's where I graduated from college and I got to play golf there. It was amazing. Now, this club wasn't around when I was in school. Tells you a little bit about how old I am, but at the time, our home course was Great Hills Country Club. Currently, the University of Texas Golf Club is where the current men's and women's players practice and play. They have locker rooms out there. It's a double-ended driving range where one end the members are on, the other end the current Longhorn players practice from. They have hitting bays and all the good stuff. So it's a really cool vibe out there. In addition to the 18 holes that they have, an enormous short game area. We'll go into that in just a sec. So here's one of my favorite views on the golf course. This Longhorn sits behind a par 4 on the backside, and you can see the lake in the river. That's Lake Austin back in the background there. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. The final finishing holes here, and they are tough. So this course is a Bechtel design. It was built in 2003, and from the tips, it's every bit of golf course that you could want to, PGA level 2. I want to take you here to the bird's eye view so you can see how the homes are on the golf course, how close they are, in addition to the green space for all the hiking trails out there. And I'm going to zoom in here in the middle so I can show you what's what. So here is the golf club here. In the center, it has a big pavilion, outdoor pavilion when you get done. They have parties there all throughout the football season, like pep rallies. They have plenty of room for bounce houses and concerts and things like that. And here is that double-ended driving range I was telling you about. So on this end, this is the members' end. Down here is the current players for the University of Texas, and this is their clubhouse and hitting bays, things like that. Got some short game practice area here for the current players, and then over here is some great short game area for the members. And then Jordan Spieth came back after he graduated and designed this 6-hole here par 3 course where you can absolutely hone in your short game and just get really good. So 6 holes, you know, all under 125 yards, some are 65, all different distances. So you can dial in those wedges, full of bunkers, so you can practice all of that. And just next to it here, that's hole number 1. And then over here to the right, you will see those tennis courts over there. It's in a different location than the Golf Pro Shop. Not far away, but they are separated, and they have a really cool pool out there with the Longhorn in it, and you can see it right here. Like I said, everything out there is Longhorns. As far as the homes go in the Steiner Ranch area, you can expect between around 700,000 and about 3 million unless you get down to the lake. This area is known as the land between two lakes because up to the north we have Lake Travis, and then down to the south we have Lake Austin. So the Steiner Ranch community falls in between those two lakes, and I think it's like a 4,500 acre community, but the golf area or the country club portion is just going to be this gated area here. It is all part of Steiner Ranch, but the portion that's gated at the golf course is this section here. There are other gated sections, but you have to go out the golf gate and into another gate. So just keep in mind, some of it's gated, some of it's not, but where you play golf, it's a 24/7 manned security gate. As for types of homes, this is a pretty common design out there. 2 stories, it's either going to be brick or limestone rock. Then as you get to the more expensive homes, these roofs are going to change into clay tile roofs and things like that. If you have one of these homes on the golf course, you are right next to the fairway. I mean, like if you're sitting at your pool, you can have a conversation with someone teeing off without raising your voice. It's a very, very tight-knit community as far as homes being up next to the fairways, tee-off boxes, and greens. So if you want a home with more privacy and want to be on the golf course, this probably isn't the right community for you. If you want a home that's on the golf course, you can talk to your friends as they go by and heckle them as they're making putts and stuff, this is the right community for you. So the pros and cons for this community, the best thing is the location in a beautiful area. You have all this green space full of hiking trails, and you are the land between two lakes. You feed into top-rated schools. High school feeds into Vandergrift High, and it's an active club. There are a ton of activities, tournaments, tastings, chef's nights. It is a very, very busy club. You'll always have something to do up at the UT Club. The cons, as far as the community goes, it's tough on traffic. There's only one way in and one way out, so if you live deep in the neighborhood, it takes forever to get in and out. And then once you get out here to 620 at rush hour, that can be a real pain if you're trying to get into Austin as well, because there's really one way in, one way out. I like to refer to it as living in the bubble. Once you're there, it's amazing. But if you have to get out and drive a lot of places, it can be a little rough. The next con, it kind of tees off on that activity portion. There's always something going on at the club, but that makes it sometimes a little bit tough to get a tee time on the weekend. Now that changes, it ebbs and flows, but just know there's a large membership. It's an active membership. There's a lot of people, a lot of members that want to play golf. Sometimes it makes it a challenge to get a tee time. And lastly, if you need some nightlife, it's not there. You'll have to leave and come into town, into Austin, if you want to do anything, go out dancing or go to the football games or have one of a really, really fancy dinner. Now, I say that there is Steiner Ranch Steakhouse in the neighborhood, and that one is excellent. But if you want to do much more exotic things or anything a little bit out of the ordinary, you're coming all the way into town. And if that's at traffic time, it's tough. If it's not, it's still a half hour away. All right, we're moving from the UT Golf Club right here out to the middle of Lakeway at the Hills Country Club. Now, the Hills Country Club nickname, we call it Double Trouble because if you're a full member there, then you get both the Hills and Flintrock Falls. You get 2 others as well, but the main 2 country clubs are the Hills and Flintrock Falls. The next 2 are Live Oak and Yopon. Now, this one is my favorite. One reason here, you can look at this picture. It's number 7 on the Hills Golf Course, and it is the par 3, their signature hole. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've definitely donated some balls to the scenery over the years, but the main reason it's my favorite is because that's where we did the majority of our practicing when I was in college playing for the University of Texas. At the Academy of Golf, at the other end of the driving range from the Hills, is where we spent thousands of hours hitting out of the bunkers, putting, hitting on the driving range, and really, really practicing for days upon end out there getting ready for our tournament. So it has a very sweet spot in my heart. My parents also lived out there while I was in college, so I could go crash there on the weekends and get some rest while I was in the middle of my practice facility. And then let's not forget, the 18-hole golf course of the Hills is just one of my favorite designs. It's got fairways that are laid out in front of you, no trick shots. You see what you get. If you hit a good shot, shot, you're rewarded. If you hit it in the middle of the fairway, it also won't bounce off and go into the ravine or anything like that. That's my type of golf, and that is why I love this course so much. I'll show you a few more pictures here. So the cool part about this club is that the pro shop and the dining area sit out the back, and mini holes come up to it. So hole number 1 tee off is there, hole number 6 green is there, and then hole 14 green par 3 comes in there. So there's a lot of golf to watch while you're just sitting up on the veranda having drinks or food, while some courses only come back to the tee or to the pro shop at like 9. Some don't even come back at all, and this one comes back 3 times. So it's pretty cool to pass by the club and say hi to your friends when you're coming through. And here's an angle looking back out over the golf course from the patio dining area, and this right here is the green. That's a par 3, number 14 coming up into there, and just to the left, that's number 1, a hole par 5. There's another angle looking out from the dining area, and then you have this cool setup in the middle of all those holes near the practice green. This is one angle of it when they're actually having a party, and on the weekends, everyone kind of mingles out there. Sometimes they have live music, and it's a really cool gathering spot for everyone to be outdoors and hanging out. So the Flintrock course was added in 2002, so you're going to have a little bit newer homes on that side. Before we move on to the homes, I want to tell you the initiation fee. It's $95,000, and that includes all 4 clubs, the World of Tennis, the fitness center, the whole works. So it's a really good value if you want to have different golf courses to play and lots of amenities. And they are known for tons of social activities, from wine and nines to little tournaments for kids, for men, women, couples, the whole gamut. So it's a very, very active club. Cards played, you'll see cards being played, mahjong up there all the time. So that's a really good bang for the buck. Only $95,000 for 4 golf courses, and they're all right there in the same area. Speaking of right there in the same area, Flintrock Falls and the hills are actually connected. So you can see the golf course here. That is the hills side, and then this side over here is the Flintrock Falls side, and there's a fence right in the middle because both communities are gated communities with 24/7 security guards. They are connected, so if you have a key fob and a golf cart, you can go in between the 2 neighborhoods quite easily. It's very golf cart friendly, and you can go back and forth between clubs. The hills side is older, the Flintrock Falls side is newer. But before we go away, I want to show you just a little bit more from the bird's eye view here. This is where the country club is here, and this is that double-ended driving range. So the members would be warming up and getting ready to play down here. The other side is where they have a lot of lessons in the Academy of Golf. That's where I spent those thousands of hours there in college practicing and getting better at the game. And then you see these 3 holes right here, and they're just practice holes. So you can take a handful of balls, pocket full of balls, and go out there. Par 4 here, par 5 there, and a little par 3, and they all have bunkers around them, so you can just go out there and practice until your heart's content. Then if we head on over here, it's outside the gate, but it is part of your membership if you have the full membership, and this is the World of Tennis. So you can see how many tennis courts they have, pickleball courts, they have indoor courts as well. And then if we zoom in on the swimming pool here, they actually have a swimming pool in the shape of a tennis racket. Super cool. And they have the swimming lanes if you want to do that. More tennis courts over here. They have some condos that are available, kind of some lock and leaves, and you can rent those out. And then right here is the neighborhood park. They have some more swimming pools, and then they have a skate park over here as well. So lots of amenities for the kids, singles, families, doubles, however you want to do it. Oop. And then right here, they have a little airport. So if you have a small plane and you want to fly in, you can keep your plane out there. They have a few hangars. Not big enough for jets, I'm told, just a runway long enough for airplanes, but it's right there in the neighborhood as well. As for home choices in the area, as I've already mentioned, the hills portion is a bit older, so you're going to find some lower priced homes in the hills side than you will in the Flintrock Falls side. The Flintrock Falls didn't start to be developed until the early 2000s, and you're going to find some newer homes on that side. Therefore, the prices are going to be more towards $1 million and up, and on the hills side, you can still get something in $600,000 and up. Each side does have some lock and leave condos if you're interested in that, but this is kind of a typical style home you would find in the hills. It's got that, you're either going to have kind of a ranch style home with limestone exterior, a little bit of stucco, and you're gonna find some Mediterranean vibe in the hills as well. If we hop over to the Flintrock Falls side, you're gonna find homes more, this one is 2.2 million, and you're gonna see how the styles are just a little bit more modern and a little bit, few more textures put in there. We've got the clay tile roof, we've got stucco, limestone, and this one is on the golf course, so you can see just how close you can get to the golfers there. And most of the homes on the Flintrock side, or at least half of them, you can expect to have a swimming pool in the backyard. And I'd say you're gonna have more swimming pools on the Flintrock Falls side than you will on the hillside. So the pros and cons, how do we break it down? The best part is you get 4 golf courses for that signature membership, plus the World of Tennis, plus the fitness, and plus all the parks around. Feeds into good schools, all Lake Travis ISD. The Hills and Flintrock Falls community, they keep a very packed social calendar, so you'll be able to make new friends quickly. And last but definitely not least, let's not forget its proximity to Lake Travis. If you're into the lake life, you can certainly have a home in the Hills or Flintrock Falls and get to your boat quite easily on the lake. What's not so great about the area? Well, traffic. In Lakeway, this road 620 here is kind of the main thoroughfare through there, and during rush hour time, it just gets really backed up. They've had to add a lot of stoplights over the years, so when there's a lot of traffic, it's just kind of stop and go. Next, if you are into that lake life, just remember Lake Travis levels fluctuate, so you need to keep that in mind where your boat is or where your marina is. Does it stay on the water when the lake levels go down, or does the water go out from under it and your boat is on dry land? You just need to know that. And lastly, there's kind of limited late night activity in Lakeway. There are great restaurants and lots of daytime activities and hikes and things you can do outdoors, but if you're looking for that late night party scene, it's just not there. You're gonna have to come on back into Austin. We are coming from Lakeway out here at the Hills in Flintrock back towards Austin. Our number 8 spot is coming in as Barton Creek. So Barton Creek's nickname is called our West Austin Showstopper. Barton Creek at the full membership has 4 golf courses, just like the Hills, but a little bit different price tag. It's $175,000 to join, and they are a bit more separated. So you're going to have 3 in town and 1 out in Spicewood. So if we look at the map here, Barton Creek is just in West Austin, just outside of Loop 360 here. So you're going to have the Fazio Foothills, the Crenshaw Core, and the Fazio Canyons in this section of town. And then out here towards Spicewood, way out towards the west of town, out here, you're going to have Barton Creek Lakeside. So they do have 4 golf courses, but if you're kind of living in the Barton Creek area, you'd probably just be playing the 3 that are in town there together the most. And speaking of together, let me give you the show you where everything is here. So you have the 2 original golf courses, and I'll put the satellite map on so you can see better. The 2 original courses are here. Fazio Foothills was first, then Crenshaw Core was second. Crenshaw Core is known for huge putting greens because, as we know, Ben Crenshaw was one of the best putters of all time. But that's just kind of a look at the golf course over on the Crenshaw Core side. And here's a look at the Fazio Foothills side. So overall, I'd say on the Foothills, you're gonna have a bit more elevation and some kind of tight fairways, and the Crenshaw is just gonna be more laid out with those huge greens. You might hit the green in 2, but that doesn't guarantee a par. And then to get over to the Fazio Canyons, you do have to get in your car. It's about a 10-minute drive over. You can't take a golf cart, it's a main road. But once you get over here to the Fazio Canyons, it is a gorgeous club. It is the newest of the 4, and it has an amazing practice area. It's got a creek running through it as well, and I think it's probably my favorite of the 4. There's another view of the golf course here. So one thing to note about Barton Creek, it is a very large membership club, and it is anchored by the Omni Hotel. So not only are you going to have a large membership to accommodate those 4 golf courses, you're going to have guests and visitors and vacationers playing on your course as well. Now keep in mind, they always keep 1 club reserved for members at all times, and that rotates, but they will always keep 1 reserved for that. But if you're looking for that intimacy and smaller club feel where you walk up and everybody knows you. This probably isn't that vibe of a golf club just because of its size. But now the good thing of its size is it has the spa, the fitness room, multiple swimming pools. It has the dining areas of all different levels. It's just got everything you can imagine because of its size. So if you're a top tier member, it's $175,000 to get in. They do have a bit of a waiting list, and they have some options if you want to get in early. You can be a member out at the Lakeside course for $40,000, full membership out there, and have social privileges in-town membership and get a few rounds on those in-town courses per year until your number comes up. And I am told it's chronological order, no mysterious jumping of the line, if you will. So they say about 2 or 3 years out, hard to know, one in, one out. But if you want to get playing early, you can get that smaller membership out at Lakeside and start getting in on the list now. Now let's talk about the homes. We're going to go up a notch in pricing for homes in Barton Creek. You're going to start probably around $1.5 million and go into the multi-millions, and it all depends on the size of the lot, the view, and of course the size and condition of the home. Now on those 2 original courses, we're going to have homes that are a bit older because they were there first. And this is a pretty good example of what you would find on the older portion of the Barton Creek whole community. It's not a completely gated community, meaning the original golf area is not gated, but there are gated pockets all around. So it's very likely you would end up living in a gated part of the community if you moved into Barton Creek. The canyon side is all gated. So just need to know, in different sections have different levels of social membership or non-social membership. Some of them, well, you're going to have multiple HOAs because you're going to have your little community HOA and then the overall HOA for the Barton Creek Club. So keep that in mind as you're shopping. On the original side, you're going to find more traditional Mediterranean vibe, more stucco, and less of that modern feel. Now, if we jump over to the canyons side, we're going to have a much more modern feel in there, like these lines of this roof here, the negative edge pools out back. Think huge sweeping panoramic views and much more Texas modern. That farmhouse goes modern. You're going to also have some Mediterranean vibe in the new part as well, but you're going to feel a lot more modern vibe. Probably some larger homes in there as well, and definitely larger price tags because it's newer. Now, keep in mind, in Barton Creek, because it's been there a while, there are a plethora of options. You have some garden home kind of lock and leave styles, the smaller condos, all the way up to those luxury estates, new, nice, and modern. So if you're looking for choices and variety, Barton Creek is a great place to start. So the pros and cons for Barton Creek. First, top tier amenities. Number 2, super views, lots of panoramic views. The trees and landscaping has been there for a long time, so it's very, very lush. It's also on the Barton Creek Greenbelt, so lots of hiking out the back door, lots of paths down to the creek, and lastly, you're still very close to downtown Austin. What's not so hot? Well, I mean, the initiation fee is pretty high. The homes are quite expensive. Next, some of the homes on the older side, they're still in their original form, so they're going to need some updating in order to be on today's trend. It's not walkable. I mean, sure, you can walk for exercise, but if you're thinking about walking to a coffee shop or walking to a restaurant, it doesn't exist. Once you get in the Barton Creek community, it's all residential. So if you want to go out to eat and not eat at the club, you're gonna have to get in your car and leave the community. Now, it's not that far away to restaurants and things, but just know that you can't walk to them. Overall, Barton Creek has something for everyone. At number 9, remember we're doing these in harder to get into, so we're getting a little bit more expensive. We were here at Barton Creek Country Club. We're heading out to Bee Cave, and we're coming over to Spanish Oaks Golf Club. Initiation, $200,000. That is the highest in town. It's not the only one like that, so stick around to see what other one costs $200,000, but it is the highest of the current initiation fees in the Austin area. Spanish Oaks Golf Club, the nickname we're calling it Luxury Lockdown. Beautifully manned 24/7 security gates, top-notch security inside, and the golf course is just a beautiful rolling hill country design. And this is a beautiful picture here of what you can expect to see and kind of feel while you're playing those 18. Bobby Weed designed the course in 2001, so the homes and the community started in the early 2000s, and they're still building new out there. So you're going to have a wide variety of price ranges, but it's going to start about $2 million. But before we get to those homes, let's talk about the golf. So one thing about Spanish Oaks Golf Club, this is from the patio area looking back, there's a par 3 out there. One thing about Spanish Oaks Golf Club is the comfort stations. Now they have 2 comfort stations on the 18 and a full barbecue center grill in the middle. So when I'm talking comfort stations, imagine you're walking into a room, it has air conditioner, so it's great in the summer, and you've got all the trail mixes and candies and tuna fish and chicken salad and boiled eggs and protein bars and a refrigerator full of fizzy waters and sodas and things. It's just absolutely super cool. So you can have snacks. You never get hungry when you're playing Spanish Oaks. Here's one more picture of the beautiful fairways there. You're gonna see deer, of course, out there in the early morning or late evenings. And then in addition to the 2 comfort stations where you can go into and have all these trail mixes and stuff, right in the middle, they have an area where it's a full bar and they have barbecue. They have something cooking out there. So it is just super cool. And here's one more picture of the golf course. You've got that creek meandering all down the left side there. It goes throughout the golf course. So it's not super aggressive, that creek. Like, I haven't lost too many balls in that creek. It just sneaks up on you every now and then. And lastly, this club has white glove service, almost unparalleled in the Austin area. And I'll tell you why. First time I drive out there to play, I pull up, they valet your car, and we go and play that day. We finish. We, of course, stay in the clubhouse a little longer than after dark. And I came out, and in the bag drop area, I couldn't find my golf clubs. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. Maybe they confused them with a member and just left them in the cart barn or something. And someone's like, oh, just go check in your car. I opened my car, there are my golf clubs. How did they even know that was my golf clubs in my golf? I don't know. It was cool, and it was very, very fun to be treated like royalty when you go out to Spanish Oaks. So let's talk about those houses. The homes in Spanish Oaks are gonna start around $2 million, and then they're gonna go up into the multi-millions. You're gonna have Mediterranean villa vibes, you're gonna have Texas hill country design, you're gonna have a lot of kind of stucco. It's just very, very private and exclusive, large lots, so you're not looking at anyone else, and you're going to have a lot of those infinity pools with panoramic views out back. So this first one we're gonna look at is $6,790,000, but this is a very typical home style you might find in the Spanish Oaks neighborhood. Stucco all out front, it's got the tile roofing, and you have the very labor intensive driveway here out front. It goes all the way up to a home that's $14,995,000. Now granted, this one's over 11,000 square feet, but you can see how expansive these estates can be in Spanish Oaks. Here's an angle from the top where you drive in. Again, look at this tile work or brickwork for the driveway. Beautiful estate homes in the area, or in the neighborhood. As for the pros and cons, this neighborhood is super exclusive and very private. Those 24/7 man security gates. Stunning golf course and design. You're gonna have some PGA players out there almost all the time. Feeds into a good school system in the Lake Travis ISD. I've already mentioned those beautiful panoramic hill country views, and it just feels so exclusive and private for each one of those homes in there. What's not so great, the cons, it's expensive. I mean, we've got the largest initiation fee in town at $200,000, and then homes start at $2 million and go into the multi-millions. For some, it feels a little bit too quiet. Having that much isolation and privacy doesn't lead to really interacting with your neighbors quite as much as if you had a little bit bigger of a general community area and community vibe. So if you like that kind of front porch living where you see your neighbors passing by and you chat, probably not gonna happen out there. There are strict HOA rules and building guidelines, so you can't just build what you want. You have to follow the rules to a T. But on the flip side is that your neighbors are going to have a beautiful home as well. And lastly, this one's not walkable either. It is, once you're in the community, it's only residential. However, let me show you how close you are to everything that you need. So if we zoom in here on Spanish Oaks right here on the club, I'll take you to the bird's eye view on the satellite. You can see how the course meanders here through the hill country, and you can also see just how close it is to all of this commercial. You have all of your big box stores up here, your Home Depots, your Lowe's, you've got Home Goods, and then you have the Galleria, Hill Country Galleria shopping mall where you have all the shopping taken care of you need, cinemas, restaurants, grocery stores. So while you are tucked away in this super exclusive and quiet neighborhood, you are very, very close to shopping as well. Up next, coming in at number 10 in difficulty to join, it's the same price as Spanish Oaks, and this one is called Driftwood Golf Club. It's over in Driftwood, Texas. So we were over here in Bee Cave, close to Lakeway, and now we're coming kind of southwest of town to the Driftwood Golf and Ranch. For this one's nickname, think Billionaire Bunkers. Think if Yellowstone and Augusta had a baby, this would be it. I mean, they even have their own winery. Talk about exclusive. This one has got it. It's a discovery property. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up. I've got it in tons of other videos. It just means that you have access to some super cool stuff all around the globe. So the Driftwood course, 18 holes, designed by Tom Fazio. It is the newest country club in the area. You're going to have huge oak trees out there. Have a look at this picture here. It's not super hilly. Here's the best oak tree right here. You can see the green to the bottom left there. It's not super hilly. It has rolling hills, but it's not as hilly as what we would consider in our hill country area. It does have some water features running through it and makes it super beautiful, but the amenities are out the roof. Remember when I was just telling you about the Spanish Oaks comfort stations? Well, Driftwood blows those out of the water. I thought I had seen the best comfort stations in the world. Well, Driftwood is even one step bigger, and that's what I mean, bigger. Full-blown barbecue setup, cooking all the time. Those rooms that you walk into with, you know, all those trail mixes and tuna fish and all the boiled eggs and things, well, this one takes it up another level. It even has like charcuterie in there. So if you're looking for just an amazing, smooth entry, like they let you play barefooted, you don't need a tee time. It's all about the members and whatever the members want to do. And let's not forget the food, the chefs. When you actually go to the restaurant and eat, it'll blow your mind. It is absolutely delicious. Now, as far as the homes go in Driftwood, most of them are still being sold by the community itself. They don't put anything on the MLS or like the Zillows and Redfins of the world, and it's all mostly custom built. They are starting to build some bungalows and some smaller villas, so kind of more lock and leave style, but these are going to be more along the lines of custom estates built to your desires out there. And at the moment, the lots start about $1.5 million and go up from there. So we're talking major estate type properties, a little bit closer to the Spanish Oaks style. And here's just some renderings of some that are going to be ready within the near future. So if you want to buy a home in the area, think construction, you buy the plan, figure out how you want it to look, and you build on your lot from there. And in this one, you have to own a property inside the community in order to be a member. So it's $200,000 initiation fee plus ownership in the community. But the community's cool. Got fishing, their own winery, hiking trails galore, you name it, they've got it as far as amenities go. So the pros and cons for Driftwood, it's the ultimate in luxury and privacy. They've got 24/7 gated security guards. You're part of the Discovery program, so that means you have these worldwide benefits with other similar level clubs. And it's pretty loose. They just are all about the members. So if you want to play barefooted, if you want to bring your dog, you don't need a tee time. You can kind of do what you want to do. So it's really, really lax, and everybody, all the staff really knows the members, and it's super white glove service there. What's not so great? Well, it's a pretty good ways from town. It's out in the country, it's out in Driftwood. So if you need to come to town to Austin, you need to take that commute into consideration because it's a long way. Next, the price point. I mean, $200,000 initiation fee plus multi-million-dollar home. You've got to have deep pockets. Inventory is limited. You can't very much go in there and buy a resale. You've got to buy the lot and build on it for the most part, not 100%, but for the most part. So it's not something that you can get into very quickly. And again, if you need that fast-paced energy and a lot of nightlife, this isn't where it's going to happen. This is more of a country, rural, laid-back vibe. Our last club, then the most difficult to get into, did you guess it? I think you probably did. Austin Country Club. While it's not the most expensive, it is by and far the most difficult to get into. The waiting list is long. You have to have multiple recommendation letters. The approval process is somewhat a mystery. So Austin Country Club is the toughest one to get into. Have a look here. It is absolutely an amazing location. It's just on the west side of town, underneath that beautiful Pennybacker Bridge. Here is what it looks like from the air. The front nine or the back nine, depending on if you watched it on TV or if you play it in person, is on Lake Austin. So it's just gorgeous. Everyone wants to be a member here. The nickname, Old Money Swank. Yep, legends have played here. This is just old Austin wealth. And as you can see, when I mentioned on the TV or not, the Dell Match Play Tournament was held here for years. And that is why, if you watch that tournament, they reversed the nine. So if you play it in person, it's going to be the front nine that's on the water. If you watch it on TV, it's the back nine. Nonetheless, it's an amazingly beautiful course. Here is that iconic par 5 heading down to the bridge that I can never seem to master. I get down there with an iron into the green in 2 and I can't even make par. It's a tough hole. This is a view here from the patio area where you can sit outside. That's the practice area, practice putting green. You've got number 1 and number 10 in the background there. And so think the front nine is more along the water and the back nine is all throughout the ravine. So you're going to have more shots over creeks and down rocky walls and a little bit more undulation on the backside. So this course is always in immaculate condition. The grass is always perfectly green, perfectly cut. Everything is just top notch there. This is where I even learned that you're not supposed to put on your shoes in the parking lot. I mean, you know, when we were in college and playing competitive golf, you roll up, you throw off your sandals or tennis shoes and put on your golf shoes and go play. Well, you need to not do that in the parking lot at Austin Country Club. It's just that fancy. So you either need to have your golf shoes already on when you arrive, or you take your shoes to the locker room and do it there. Who knew? So if you can get into Austin Country Club or have a friend that's a member there, I highly recommend to do it. And one thing I should mention, they are a member-owned club and they are thinking about doing some remodeling. Currently the pro shop. So here is the 18-hole course, and from the aerial view you can get a better idea of why, say, the front nine is on the lake and then the back nine is through the ravines and hill countryside over here. Now as we zoom in on the club, they are considering doing a remodel. I think it's been voted on yes, as it's a member owned. So currently the club is here. This is just a random parking lot down here, and that overlooks all this beautiful golf and the lake. So they're considering moving the pro shop and the dining down to where this parking lot is and updating the whole pro shop and country club dining area design, because it is a little dated. It's been there the longest. In fact, this club, not in this location, but this club has been around since 1899. Pretty cool, huh? Anywho, it's going to cost a lot of money to move the clubhouse down here into this more accessible area for the lake. So there will be an assessment for those members, and you know, some people are happy about it and some people aren't. So just keep that in mind as things progress forward to the future. As for homes in the area, they're going to be a little bit older. This club has been there since the 80s. It moved to this location in the 80s, and you know, homes were built then. So you're going to find some that are still that built out, so you're going to find some in that original condition, and you're going to find most that have been remodeled. So depending on where they are in that remodel stage as to kind of what they look like. But this home here is listed for $3.6 million, and this is a pretty good image of what you can expect to find large traditional two-story type homes in the neighborhood. Nothing modern unless it has been rebuilt in place of a tear down, or it's a little bit further away up on a hill, maybe looking back towards the golf course, because the community was built out in the 80s and 90s. So what are the pros and cons for this neighborhood? Well, number one, it is the most prestigious, well-respected club in Austin. It has legendary golf status. Ben Crenshaw, Tom Kite took lessons from Harvey Pinnock there, and the list goes on over the years. It has the best location. It's close to Austin and it's on the lake right under that Pennybacker Bridge. You just can't buy views like that anymore. Very important, it feeds into Eanes ISD. Eanes ISD is one of the highest ranked school districts in the whole state of Texas. And your value is protected. There are very few homes that front the golf course, so if you are lucky enough to get one of those, you can be promised your resale value will be there. So what are the cons about Austin Country Club? Well, it's nearly impossible to get into. The list is long. Nobody really knows how the list works. There's high initiation here too. It's around $100,000, but the more important thing is the waiting list is so long it doesn't really even matter how much it costs. You can't quite buy your way into it. You just have to wait your turn. Next, homes rarely hit the market. And if we look at this map again back here, we can see how a lot of these holes don't even have homes on the fairways. So only a few of these holes in the back do you even ever see homes on the fairway. So that makes for a very small amount of inventory that ever even comes up on the golf course. And lastly, this isn't funky and fun. If you want that, think SoCo. All right, you made it. There are 2 new clubs coming online. This is your bonus for sticking around. It's Travis Club and Laura Loma. So if we look at the map here, it's out past Lakeway. Here is Lakeway here, and it's more in the Spicewood area. This is the Hills Country Club. We come out on 71 a little further and wrap around the lake, and that is Travis Club right here. And then out here a little bit further in Spicewood, we have Laura Loma. And I'm just gonna break these down quickly for you because they're not even playable yet. They are promising by end of 2025 the golf might be playable, but the homes still aren't even built. What I can tell you, they're both gonna be swanky and super beautiful. So the pros and cons for Travis Club. First of all, Travis Club is going to be elite and have a wonderful golf course designed by Bo Welling. It is on the deep water portion of Lake Travis, so you're going to actually have lake views from the golf course, and we don't have any other club in town that does that. Barton Creek Lakeside has a few long distance views, but this will actually have some views and some holes where you hit over the water in Lake Travis. Pretty unique. It's going to be gated. It's a master plan community. There's enough elevation in the community where it says if you have a view on your hillside, it will not be blocked by a house down below. They're doing it architecturally that way, so if someone in front of you doesn't have enough slope down, you can only build a 1-story. So anyway, it's a super cool design to keep everyone's panoramic view of the lake the same, or of the golf course. And lastly, it feeds into Lake Travis ISD. What's not so great, the cons? Well, nothing's ready. You can't move in. It's to be built out. You've got to buy the lot and then get your home built on it. They are building a few spec homes, which means the builders are building it without a buyer, and once they get finished, they'll try to sell it to a buyer, but it's still, those are not built yet, so it's a waiting game. And it's a pretty good drive from downtown. While it's still in the Lake Travis ISD, you head out 71 and then you have to wind around in the neighborhood back off of 71 for a while to get back into the Siesta Shores area to get to the actual community. So that said, there's not a lot back there yet. You're going to have to leave the area to get to the grocery store, to the restaurants and things like that. But once they get built out, they will have plenty of dining options and amenities in there to use. You probably won't ever even need to leave. Next, we're going to talk Laura Loma. It's out towards Spicewood, the nickname Secret Sauce Luxury. It's a small portion of Thomas Ranch, and they are developing it over the years in phases. So they will develop all the way from Highway 71, let me zoom in on this here, all the way out towards the Laura Loma portion there. So at the end of this development, think 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, there's going to be multifamily, there's going to be healthcare, retail, apartments in the front, And then as the farther back you get into the neighborhood, the more exclusive you get. The Laura Loma portion, of course, being that gated, most exclusive part that it has the golf course in it. So the best part about Laura Loma, they have a beautiful piece of land. It's on the Pedernales River, which is an arm of Lake Travis, and it's going to be kind of an eco-luxury division. Think Hill Country meets Napa. It's going to be a super private golf course. David McClay Kidd, a Scottish guy, is designing it, and I've been out there. It looks really, really pretty with all the design he's doing in the Hill Country. And lastly, the homes and the membership is designed to be ultra discerning. You're going to be an elite part of the community, an elite part of Central Texas golf as well. The cons, well, again, just like Travis Club, nothing's ready yet. They're still building the infrastructure. There's no homes on the ground. So if you need to move in quickly, it's just not going to happen. This has to be a long-term play. And speaking of long-term play, there's not much in Spicewood yet. I think that this community is going to make Spicewood explode, but I'm thinking 10, 12 years down the road. So if you need community centers, lots of grocery stores, and lots of restaurants, this probably isn't the time to do it yet, but I think it's going to be really cool by the time it's all said and done. And again, you need to own property in the community in order to be able to be a member, and that's for both Travis Club and Laura Loma. So that's a lot. We did it. We got through all the private clubs in town and the up-and-coming ones with Travis Club and Laura Loma. Which one did you like best? I told you my favorite was the Hills. The hardest one to get into is Austin Country Club, and you have everything in between. Do you need better value, better houses, an estate, a lock and lead? It's all here for you in Austin area golf. Just reach out to me so I can help you figure out which one fits you. Whenever you want to look at any of these homes in person, we're always around to help you. All you have to do is give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, schedule a Zoom call. We're always available to help you find the perfect home and golf community that matches your lifestyle. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others, and I can't wait to see you on the links.